Welcome in this video tutorial for RealFlow. In this video tutorial we can see a little introduction to this software and with a little example with a waterfall. I create a little geometry in my favorite 3D pack, and this geometry it's a bit good geometry for create a little part for create my waterfall. I select and I export from RealFlow toolbars, and here I can export for I can export my geometry in SD file. SD file is the file who RealFlow work, or you can export in OBJ files. When I use SD files for animation, if you have the animation, for example the camera or another kind of animation, you can export in XD file, for example, because take the range of your animation. For example, I can give more range. I set up animation from par 2200 and okay, active range it's okay, export, and I choose my folder. For folder it's good, for example the same folder from RealFlow, so start RealFlow for example. Now when open RealFlow, in the first time you can see the project manager, and the project manager is the last file you open, and you can create the project with the name, and from default take this path. Now I open another file and I see for example open project folder from file. You can see here I have image in its state, log, mesh, object, particle, and preview. Okay, this is the folder who RealFlow creates from default for always for every project you do. In object, I can put, for example, my object from 3D Studio Max. Object, rock, export. Okay, when I export I can go down and see the rock. Why I can put inside the object folder? Because so you can, when I import from object import, I have the direct folder up. Okay, this is my model, and in this case it's not a problem with the scale, with the orientation of my axis, because my axis have the same from file preference. Here I can choose all setting of my flow. In general I have the axis setup, it's the same of 3ds Max and Maya in this case, but I can choose another software 3D, for example like the Wave or Cinema 4D or XSI, Maya or Houdini. I choose, because I use more 3D Studio Max, I use 3D Studio Max. Here I have the geometry scale of my geometry who I import. It's 1 or Demon or Force or etc. When I create this geometry in 3D Studio Max, I use the unit setup, the meters, because RealFlow work with the units meters. So 1 meters, it's one square here from my grid, it's 1 meters. So you can create the geometry in meters and export. If you have, for example, the centimeters, RealFlow don't convert your unit from meters, but take centimeter to meters. For example, if you create this geometry from 10 centimeters, for example, when you export it's become 10 meters, so it's very difficult then it's working inside RealFlow. When you import, you can always do another little type. It's create the small or create the real world. If you want to edit, you can create on SD to curve, and you can edit your position, your object, your rotation, your scale. But I prefer rest in this unit. A little step behind. Okay, in RealFlow this is not the default interface. It's layout apply default. I have the node where it's create the similar the outline from Maya, for example, but here I have all elements I create in RealFlow, and I can, for example, for select click and select my element. Here I have the global links. Global links, it's all elements, it's interaction with the dim. And here I have the exclusive link for exclusive some operation from different elements in RealFlow. Here I have the messenger. It's my all process what I do in RealFlow. For example, open the chain or import reading, for example, the file layout is loaded. This is very nice for another operation. Here I have the single view. The single view is very fast, and for simulation I can press, for example, Alt and the right bottom of mouse for zoom in, zoom out, over the scroll of my mouse for zoom in, zoom out, and Alt and the scroll or the center bottom of mouse for the pan, or the left bottom of the mouse and for orbit 3D. It's very fast. I can switch from another view from perspective of when I click the right bottom of mouse, and here I have the view. Or I can choose press, for example, 1 from the number on the letters, 1 from the top view, 2 for the front view, 3 for the side view, 4 for come back in perspective view. If I press F3, for example, I can have the quad view, but it's not very good because it's very slow when you create simulation, and for this is advised to use the single view, only the single view. Also because it's very nice. It's very good for when you're working. It's not even need to another kind of view, for example. Okay, and you can switch for another with the number with another view. Here I have the node parameters, where is all parameters of my elements in Sheen. And I have the node with the simulation. Simulation is active. Dynamic, it's not dynamic now, but if you have the dynamic similar rigid body or another kind of dynamic, you can active these properties. The position, rotation, scale, the shear, pivot, the position of pivot, and if this parent to its link for animation to another elements. Here the color for visualization, you can give another color, or you can change. It's not very important now that, but you can give, for example, the ground. Okay, you can see it's a different color. When it's not selected, it's this color. In its state, when you create, for example, the glass with the wine, you can use, or you can, when you want freeze the simulation from start to another, for another simulation, you can use the initial state. Texture, if you use texture you can load texture, and here it's display, it's visible or not. It's show normal, and you can see the normal, and the velocity and another, but it's not very important now. Here I have the layer, but I can create the layer and hide or create a simulation and but I think it's not very important now. So when you can take and drag with another position this tab and create your interface, and after you can save your layout and setting, for example, from default. I prefer use this situation with the nodes and global links and the exclusive links, and hide here the node parameters and here messenger. Why I use this? Because I think it's very important to use a big area for the viewport, and so it's very nice this situation for me. Okay. And here I have the timeline with simulation option, with the option from frame rates, from adaptive min and maximum steps, and the quality of my rigid body, and the reset and the tools for animation or for create another situation. Here I have the same situation, same as properties for the scale options. Okay. And here I have the minimum step, sub-step, and then the maximum steps. This is parameters. It's very important for quality of your simulation. If you have the low quality, if you want low quality, you can increase the maximum sub-step, for example, 50. And now I don't have a simulation. Nothing. Sorry. And here I can create decrease this value, for example 150, or but for default now it's okay. So and here I have the menu, file, edit, view. It's a classic menu from 3D software, all software in computer. And the new, open and save. I have the selection. You can switch with Q, move with W, rotate with E, and scale with R, and the axis. But now I can see also this, and here there another button for another create, for example, the emitters and the daemon. Emitters, it's very different, and it's the emitters, the particle. So if you want to create the gas, the liquid, or another kind of situation, you can create the emitter. You must create the emitters, for example, and you can choose a different shape, for example, the cycle, the square, or the sphere, or linear, or triangular, or create the spline. Another, it's the element, very important. It's the daemon. It's the operator for create, for example, the kill volume, where is container, where in outside it's the all particle is killed. For example, for kill by age, for kill by speed, or for example, create the gravity. The gravity is the force from down. And much more. Okay, and here I can create the geometry, for example, the null object, or sphere, hemisphere, cube, cylinder, and much more. Or for example, they import my geometry for another software. Is for example, it's this case. Okay. In the first time I must create the methods, and for this tutorial I don't create this cylinder. In cylinder, okay, when you create elements, all elements in RealFlow, these elements it's created in default position is 0, 0, 0. Okay, you can see also here 0, 0, 0 position, but 1 for example now for, but in the center of your grid you can hide with G from keyboard. You can create for example another is a square, or create for example the cylinder. You can create more, it's very different, but the value it's very similar from all of your points. In for example, like take the cylinder. The cylinder, I have the particle, it's the type of the particle, it's the simulation, it's gas or liquid or dumb or elastic or by scripts, but I can use the liquid. The resolution, it's the how much particle it's emitter from in the time, and the density of the liquid, the interior pressure and the exterior pressures, this is very nice value, the viscosity, the surface tensions, the interpolation, and another it's very nice value, it's the under the tab, the rollout tab of the cycle. You can have the volume, it's the from volume or not, and the speed it's the velocity of your emitters. And also I have the random, from vertical random, from horizontal random, or ring ratio, or side emission, if you can see the emission from the side. When you create simulation, for now I can create, for example, I can delete, for example, for now, yes, I can delete, and I can come back on zoom select. Okay. When you create, for example, the emitters, and you put, but sorry, I rotate for understand this. Okay. For create simulation, I must click on simulation, and I see this. It's the only particle is represented from the dot. Dot also because on in display I have the point, or I can create sphere, or I can choose another kind of the simulation. Now it's sphere, it's very big, it's not very nice, maybe RealFlow crashes. Not sphere, it's point. Okay. So when you create this, you can look at two important aspects. For example, my emitters, it's only up, it's only in from the direction of my show icon, yes, from my arrow, for example. Okay, and I have regular, more regular, and it's this dot, it's very near from it, and is not have the effect, for example, of the gravity. Okay, if I give a different value from a resolution, for example 4, and reset, also when you create simulation, the timeline become the yellow color. Okay, I can reset, yes, simulation, it's more particle, it's more difference, it's very details on my fluid, but again it's not have the effect of my gravity, so I can apply the effect of gravity. For example, the gravity, the effect, it's the normal, the range, it's the normal from the earth gravity, for example, or you can give more, or you can give not more, or for example I can reset, yes, and simulating, I see the effect of my gravity, but is not collided by another elements, and so it's go down, it's growing from the bottom, from the bottom, from more more infinity is not okay, but I can it's not killed. For example, I can create another element. For example, I can put here up, and another aspect very important is the axis. Now axis is always local when you create from the default, but I can create the global from the world, and you have the another aspect. If I create, for example, the plane, and I scale a few, simulation, I see the emitter, it's interaction with my plane, but I don't give nothing information. This is because I have the global links. It's all elements. It's interaction from them. But I can, for example, delete all, and I drag and drop the cylinder, my emitter, in exclusive link, and I say, for example, if I resimulation, not have the effect of gravity, so I can apply gravity, and I see the effect of gravity, but don't have the effect of my plane, because don't have my plane inside my exclusive link. And I up, and I assign. Okay, this is very nice. It's very important when you work with more elements, and if you want interaction, it's very different from the elements, for example, and you can see the difference element. Another aspect from the value, it's for example the pressure. I can give for example 2 interior pressure and 0 for exterior, and I have the pressure from interior to exterior, or I can give for example 2 and 0 to exterior from interior. You can see it's the push the fluid from the interior, because the pressure is come to exterior of my emitters, so you can see the difference result. But I can rest from default value. Another aspect, it's for example the random. It's for example 2 vertical random. I have another vertical random. Another nice aspect is for example you can change in simulation when it's running, and you can see the difference situation always. Okay, from this I can reset. Yes. Okay, now we can see here what we can do for waterfall. For example, I can okay, in the last when you now create, I have the folder from particle from the folder project. You can go in file, open project folder. In particle I find the cache of my emitters. This is very important, because when you, for example, delete simulation, you can delete all also here, for don't have more space in your occupy more space in your hard disk. Or for example, it's very important because when when RealFlow is crashed, for example, you can have restart from this last frame. It's saved from the cache. Okay, and now we can start with our examples. So I can delete all and for security I delete all cache inside the folder of cache. Another cache is created from RealFlow, is in the object. I have the animation and the cache of my element, but I can say is not created from export the export center or F12 from keyboard, and here I have the all elements, for example the particle emitters, or but I need to create elements, so I import the rock, my folder. I change color for so I can see more in my viewport. Another aspect, sorry, I come back another one moment. It's another aspect very easy, very necessary. It's from a display. It's two lights, because one light maybe you can understand what you do in some situation, but if you choose from preference display two light, you can choose another two lights. And so it's another aspect, it's display info. It's all node or select node. What is it? This it's when you select your geometry or your element. Here under perspective you can see my information about your element. If you are all, and if you have more element, you can see the list very long for your element here. So it's very important to have this script on your screen. So you can create emitters by spline in this case, and zoom selection. You can see this element it's very particular because I have the cycle with the arrow and with the line. For create different situation, for example, you can edit this spline from spline, and you can see, for example, here I can edit. I have the aspect, it's the force, or it's for velocity, but it's force, it's okay. Creation by axis or by tube, by edge, it's difference from the emitters, where is the emitter, and with edit I can create different position, different aspect of my edge, my line. So we can create, for example, I can select all, it's very fast, put up, and I put here, and here, okay. From the edit I can choose the first point, for example, and in first point I have the difference value, for example the radial, for example the radius of rotation, and or is a link to some element. And I can choose, for example, the index number 2, it's the point number 2 for path, my number 2, number 3, and position in different place for have a different effect. Okay. This is very nice emitters, because if you have a particular shape, you can apply different shapes to your path with this emitter. You can insert another element, for example one, another, or for example I can create another by, if I choose free, I create insert C from the free and from the full, so for give another aspect. Insert also the gravity effects, and I put here for necessary for visualization, and I save my file and create a simulation. So simulation here is very fast now, because I don't have the particular effect from the emitters, for example, don't have the pressures, don't have the viscosity, don't have more different sweating. So you can see the interaction with your elements and the falling down the waters. It's very nice. Now, if you put, for example, difference value from the resolution, for example 4 or 2, 4, it's okay in this case. Exterior pressure, for example, I can put 2, and density, it's okay, 1000, sorry. But surface tension, for example, tension for 0.1. Control A, I delete the simulation or reset. It's the same of reset here, and press A, I start simulation. Now see the simulation, it's very fast again, it's very nice. Also because don't have, for example, the drag force or another force or more. You can apply this force, for example, from the daemon, and so if you have a nice effect. For example, if I put inside the drag force, and in drag force is the strains, I put 0.25, and boundary notes, it's okay, and I can duplicate, for example, this is little type, my gravity, and I put here and here, and the gravity, it's I put, for example, this from 12, and this I put 10, so I give 15, 16. Okay, but this gravity I can give a bounded, for example, from the box, and I display this box, and I put a different shape with the scale, and I put here. Okay, so this is operation now. It's the another force applied to your emitters and give the more go down. For example, if I put simulation, see the effect of the gravity of the drag. It's very nice from here, and go down, and when I arrive here, it's go down. Other is not go in this direction. It's I can also reset, give more, for example, resolution. I put up for have more density, more of my simulation, more particle. And another aspect, it's the randomness. In general, I can put 2, for every, or in the speed by 10 because it's the waterfall, it's very fast, the water, for example. Simulation again, and I see another aspect. Here I have the minimum range color, it's light blue, and for the white it's the maximum range color. So what I mean, it's the fast particle, it's white in very fast particle, and the particle is very slow, slow down, for example, minimum range color, it's blue, so this is very slow. Another aspect for I have the good visualization in my viewport. For example, I can select my rock, and from layout, from view, elements, bounding box, for example, for don't see and see only my effect of my emitters. Now see, with different value you can have a different time for rendering. Here I have time from cache, time for every frame I create inside my RealFlow simulation. And here I have the estimate time, or the time of my global simulation time, it's the global simulation. And here you can see, now it's very easy, but you can see how much time you spend for simulation. Okay, I stop, and for example I can introduce another aspect, or a set for, I can give a more difference. With 7 I switch with the bounding box for all of my viewport. With 8 I active the wireframe viewport, with 9 the shade, with 0 the shade with smooth shader. Okay, another aspect, I can select my spline and I go edit and I click on my points 4, and for example I can give another shape for have more variation. And for example, this is the arrow rotation 40, 3, and rotation 0.5, but that's 0.5. Okay, now it's very variation shape. Another element I can introduction, for example, it's the why don't 25 20, okay, and from here 0 1 0, okay, 30, 20. Okay. Another aspect, if I can introduce, for example, the iteration from the fluid. It's very nice, iteration from fluid. It's I can create another meter, for example, the square meters, and I put here. Or here, okay. Change the dimension, rotation, and move maybe small. Okay, now if I start simulation, I see my square, and I can see, I can give another color. Okay, and my spline, interaction together. Here I have okay value, it's 2, 4, or the same of my spline, it's 10, it's okay. Randomation, it's 2, 4, and 4 also in horizontal, and iteration 4. Exterior pressure, interior free, 4. Save simulation. Now I see this interaction. Okay, now the interaction is the same, because my velocity, my speed of my square is the same of my spline emitters, so is not have the liquid or emitters is it's a win on the another emitter, but it's have the same situation. Time it's very long for this simulation, because it's not have now I have only the machine. It's very basic machine. And it's very basic. For example, now this situation. So it's important to have a good machine with a more RAM, with a more fast CPU for have a more good simulation. Another aspect, for example, you can change this resolution of your option from your option of a sub-step. For example, you can give another kind of sub-steps maximums for have a more fast simulation. For example, 150. And so with this you can change and have a more different simulation. Okay, another aspect I want to introduce, and then I can send the simulation, and I press my video in my recording in pause for have more time for this simulation. It's that creates the kill volume, for example, and the kill age. Kill volume, it's the container where is delete in my particle. If I simulation now, I see my particle is not exist. It is delete because it's not container inside my container, and is delete all. I can see the value of the fit object. For example, choose the plane. Okay, it's the fit about the geometry you can have, or you can fit by the chain. Fit by the chain, it's all chain. It's very it's ticket. But also you can scale in your zone you are interesting for have a good simulation. And I put here, for example, I switch with one for top view, and I want my simulation is stopped here, from here. Okay, choose for okay. And when my particle go down and arrive here, it's delete completely, because it's killed. Another demon, it's the demon by speed or by age. By age, when have the life of my particle is created for example one frame, and all particles for one frame it's deleted everything, but you can delete after and give the variation. Or for example, you can create the speed from the limit, the speed it's killed, for example, and this is very nice for some situation you can use it, or for more situation. And another, it's for example the noise. It's very in noise field. It's the similar, if you know another software 3D, it's very nice for create the turbulence. For example, you can create the one with the strings, with big strings, and another for example you can duplicate with Ctrl D, and I put for example 0.5. And another aspect, you can give the bounded. The bounded is where is the effect of your element. And so if I can scale, I can give another aspect, and I can put here, for example, give a difference, turbulence side. Another aspect is the speed of your emitters. For example, you can give the animation of your emitters for give more difference value. For example, for animation by the curve editor, and give more difference aspect. If you can select your spline and you can go on the speed, for example the speed, I click the right bottom of mouse and add key, and after I move from 25, for example, click add key and open curve editor. I see that my curve editor is very similar to another software 3D. Here I can use the curve by TCB or with Bezier curve, and so I can repeat this value. I can give for example the value have a 10 value 10, and the frame I can put for example 10, and the value I can give 5. I can apply another point with the value 7. Now this is the frame 20 with value 7 or 8. Also I can select this 4, and I can give the linear type. For repeat, I can select, go to these tools, the properties, and I have the constant or 0, or I can have the loop or loop offset. I can give the loop, so it's the looped in everything, or I can give the Bezier curve. It's repeats in another point, another timeline. Can give also difference. Can give also this for have a difference effect. And I can do the same with the square emitters. Okay, we can give another difference value, for example, on my speeds, and give also loop for have different effects. Okay, here I have another effect with another effect. Okay, so I save and I start with simulation. With simulation, it's very nice simulation now. We can see after when I come back when I finish simulation. Welcome, come back in this tutorial, and after 2 hours and quarter about, I have this simulation, very nice simulation with the waterfall. It's go down, and when I arrive here it's kill, split, but this kill is not have the particle. This is very important. I can create another part of my landscape and create the water, the planner of water for splash, but it's not for this tutorial for now, because maybe I can see my waterfall from here. Okay, I don't finish the simulation because I will show you the initial state also when I arrive. If I put play, and here I have the, maybe it's not start from here, but I can start with another frame, for example the frame 60, when my simulation is here. So for initial state, for example, I must stop it in here, for example, and now I create initial state. Initial state, make use initial state, yes, make initial state on my spline, yes, make initial state, and on my square emitter, yes, make initial state. It's very important to go to reset. I check reset to initial state, and if I click reset, yes, and my simulation starts from here, and I can rewrite in the resimulation from here to the end for have another effect. So when if I go in export center or F12, I can see under the particle emitter I can choose particle bin or another kind of for example in version RealFlow 2012 I can choose also the particle Krakatoa in PRT in extension, but I can load also the PP the bin of the direct from RealFlow is not important, but object, for example, I can uncheck animated and the cache, because it's not important to have the cache of my folder of my elements in this situation, also because it's not animated, it's fixed, and so I can delete all and have more space. I have, for example, if I can create here properties, and you see it's very big for now. It's a simulation, and then to have them create a mesh, for example. Okay. Updates. Okay, when you, for example, take your chain and pattern in another computer, you can create on uptime light cache. But now reset, yes, and now I create another simulation. Click on simulation and see when finish. Okay, the simulation is finished in 5 hours and 51 quarter. But it's this time it's a normal, because on this workstation with not more big hardware, it's 200 frames and with more particles. It's a normal. It's very normal. When you finish simulation, you can, for example, here I hide more icon, more gizmo by noise field and much more. You can see the play, but it's not very in real time. So you can go in playback, video preview, and RealFlow start the preview. The preview is started with the sites by preference preview. It's custom resolution. For example, here is this resolution, but you can choose another kind. For example, HD TV resolution. It's very big, it's very high resolution. And so when you create the video preview, it's open this when finished, it's open this this player, the movie player. You can see your simulation, but sometimes it's not real time, because needed to pre-calculate the cache. So you can save, and you can save the file, and after you can see the file. When you export, another aspect in preference, it's preview, and you can choose open a new movie player or generic codec for save, and you can give another aspect, for example, the Sports Center, the image sequence, because if you open the folder, project folder, you can see preview. I have the image but don't have the image. I have the video frames, and I have the sequence now on my of my preview. And so you can use only the sequence for see the your animation, or you can save the file, and you can see the movie file. Okay, this simulation maybe it's very similar. It's not more variation, because the curve editor it's very it's a repeat always here, but you can change with another add the point of your key on your curve editor for change the variation or animation. For example, another aspect, the random of your particle, or the value of the noise filter, for example. This is give a more difference situation. But for now, for this example, it's very okay. In the next lesson, we can see another aspect, for example, for export and for render this simulation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can understand me with my English, and with this video tutorial is help you for for learning a new way for create the waterfall, or for new software as like as RealFlow. And see you in the next lesson.